It was the kind of night that made even the stars hide behind the clouds. Cold rain fell in heavy sheets, painting the quiet town in a dreary gray. Jack Palmer, a single father barely scraping by, tucked the collar of his worn coat higher around his neck as he rushed across the gas station parking lot, holding a paper bag of discounted bread and milk. Life had never been easy since his wife passed away 3 years ago. With his 6-year-old daughter Lily at home waiting with a flickering lantern and an empty belly, Jack had learned to stretch pennies until they bled. As he passed the alley behind the station, he nearly missed the figure huddled near the dumpster. Something about the small form, a girl soaked through, her arms wrapped tightly around her knees, stopped him. She couldn't have been more than 16. She shivered violently, mascara smeared on her cheeks, her designer jacket clinging like a second skin. Jack hesitated. He didn't have extra food, extra money, or even an extra room. But what he did have was a heart. "Hey," he called gently, keeping his distance. "You all right, kid?" She startled and looked up, eyes wide with fear and something else, something hollow. "I'm fine," she mumbled, but her voice cracked under the lie. "You don't look fine," Jack said, his voice soft as the rain. "Look, I've got a little place. Nothing fancy, but it's warm and dry. I've got a daughter about your age. You can crash on the couch, just for the night." She hesitated, then nodded slowly, desperation outweighing distrust. Back at Jack's small, run-down apartment, the girl introduced herself as Anna. She didn't say much else. Her fingers trembled as she accepted the dry clothes Jack offered, one of Lily's old hoodies and a pair of pajama pants. Jack made them all tomato soup, thinned with water, and offered her half of his portion. That night, while Lily drew smiley faces in her coloring book and chatted happily with their guest, Jack noticed how Anna's eyes lingered on the simple things, the flickering candlelight, the cracked picture frame holding Lily's kindergarten portrait, the way Jack wrapped a blanket around his daughter before laying her to bed on their shared mattress. "You're good to her," Anna whispered later, her voice barely audible over the dripping faucet. Jack shrugged, his eyes tired. "She's all I've got." Anna slept on the couch, but Jack barely slept at all. He couldn't stop thinking, why was a girl dressed in designer shoes hiding in an alley? What was she running from? The next morning, Jack found a note on the kitchen table. "Thank you for the warmth. For not asking questions. For treating me like a person. I'll never forget it. Anna." She was gone. A week passed. Then 2. Jack returned to his routine. Working odd jobs during the day, making pancakes from scratch with flour and water for Lily at night, loving her with all the strength a man who's lost everything can muster. Then came the knock. It was a quiet Sunday morning. Jack opened the door to find 2 sharply dressed men in black suits standing outside. "Mr. Jack Palmer," one asked, flashing a badge. "You recently helped a young girl named Anna." Jack's chest tightened. "She okay?" "She's more than okay," said the man with a smile. "She's the daughter of Richard Sterling." Jack blinked. "The Richard Sterling? The real estate billionaire?" The other man nodded. "She ran away after a fight with her father. Got tired of the pressure, the cameras, the expectations. She ended up in your town. And she told us everything." "About me?" Jack asked, now more confused than ever. "About your kindness," the agent said. "About the soup you shared, the clothes you gave her, the way you treated her with respect when you had nothing yourself." Just then, a sleek black car pulled up to the curb. The rear door opened and Anna stepped out, this time in a clean white dress, her hair pulled back in a braid, but her eyes still soft with gratitude. "Hi Jack," she said quietly. Lily peeked out from behind him. "Anna," she squealed, running to hug her. Jack stepped out, bewildered. "I don't understand." Anna smiled. "You helped me when I felt invisible. You didn't know who I was. You just cared." That kind of kindness, it changes people. And I want to give something back. She handed him a thick envelope. This is for you. There's enough in there to fix the apartment. Get a car. Maybe even send Lily to a better school. Jack stepped back, shaking his head. I didn't help you for this. I know, Anna said, her eyes shining. That's why it means so much. He opened the envelope hesitantly. Inside was a check. 6 figures. Anna's father approached next, a towering man in a tailored coat, his expression unreadable. You have my deepest thanks, he said, extending his hand. You gave my daughter what I couldn't, a moment of peace. Of humanity. Jack looked at his daughter, who was now holding Anna's hand like they'd known each other forever. His voice was thick with emotion. She was just a kid who needed a roof. Any decent man would have done the same. No, said Sterling. Not everyone would have. Most would have looked the other way. Within weeks, Jack's life began to shift. The local news caught wind of the story. Single dad's kindness changes millionaire's life, and donations poured in. A mechanic offered to repair his old truck for free. Lily got a scholarship to a prestigious school, and Anna kept visiting, always showing up with books and toys for her new little sister. But Jack never let the money or the attention change him. He still worked with his hands. He still volunteered at the shelter. And every night, he still read Lily a bedtime story with the same love he always had. One rainy evening, nearly a year later, Anna sat on a newly painted porch beside Jack, watching Lily chase fireflies in the yard. Funny, she said with a smile. I used to think I needed everything to be happy, money, fame, the perfect life. But it turns out, all I needed was a bowl of soup and a stranger's kindness. Jack looked at her, his voice calm and warm. Sometimes, the richest hearts live in the poorest homes. They sat in silence for a while, the air filled with the scent of wet earth and distant thunder. Jack didn't know what tomorrow held, but he knew this: kindness had changed everything. And sometimes, all it takes is one night, one act, one heart open enough to see someone not as a stranger, but as a soul worth saving. The end.